Throw down my ace in the hole.
All right, here we go. Good morning on this awesome Tuesday morning. A little Eddie Vedder to get you going on a Tuesday. So here we go. What do we got coming this morning? So we have a few more famous friends out in our universe that I wanted to call out for some cool things they did. Our bold coach from last fall, Michael Flores, is going to jump on the call for a little bit. We actually have quite a few compliance updates for you. I have some market statistics, and there's some really good news of what's going on in the market. Some things have started to pop, so you'll want to see it. Brad and Lindsay are going to give us some tech updates, and then we will round out the call with Mandy giving us what's coming up from a May training calendar perspective. So let's start with some of our famous friends. First, I wanted to give a shout out to Shannon Schultz, who is doing one random act of kindness every week for 45 weeks and was picked up by the Real Simple blog. And they had an awesome article around her inspiration for incredible kindness in the countdown. So be on the lookout for that. And then the other person I wanted to shout out is Annie Stabler, who got picked up by CBS 58 News talking about our market statistics that we share every week. So I wanted to share with you that video. So take a look at this.
So the pandemic is impacting virtually every aspect of the U.S. economy, including the housing market. Commerce Department said today that new home sales across the country dropped 15% last month. CBS 58's Brittany Lewis talked to local realtors about what the market is like in our area. Brittany.
Bill, there have certainly been changes in how people are looking at homes, many more of those virtual tours and other safety measures, but people are still buying.
It's actually pretty strong still.
Annie Stabler is a realtor with Keller Williams. While she says showings are down,
Last week when we looked at it, showing activity statewide was down about 45%.
home sales are not.
Home sales definitely across the 5-county Milwaukee metro area are not down.
She says the number of homes coming onto the market, though, has decreased.
So our inventory is getting even tighter than it was before. Yet demand still high. There we have our strong market.
There's a lot fewer people putting their home up for sales, which has helped keep prices stable for sellers.
That low inventory has made it competitive for buyers.
And most homes are going in a day or two.
Their advice to buyers, be ready.
You want to be pre-approved.
Stay in touch with your lender.
Lending requirements are getting a little bit tighter, and the type of loan that you qualified for pre-COVID may not even be available.
And don't expect to see a big drop in prices.
Don't expect that you're going to see a crash where values are going to start to take a big dive and you're going to get like a banging deal on something, because it's not likely to happen based on what we're seeing.
Cool. Annie Stabler, way to represent the crew. Congrats. So next up, one of the things I wanted to touch on before we jump Michael Flores on the call is I want to give a shout out to Steve Strickland. Yesterday, he provided a little TED Talk, is what he considered the Monday morning motivation, right? And what I love about TED Talks is they get you to think differently, right? They challenge your thoughts, they challenge your feelings, they challenge you to think about what you do every single day in your life, personally, professionally. And I wanted to give you a quick recap of this TED Talk in terms of how we kind of frame our mind for this morning's conversation. And this TED Talk that Steve shared yesterday was given by Stacey Adams, who was the first Black woman nominated to run for governor in the state of Georgia by either the Republicans or Democrats, right? And her 12-minute TED Talk posed an important question around her thought process in terms of why she would do this. What does this look like? And I thought the thought process was so simple. And so I want to really kind of frame your mind for this morning around a really simple thought process as you go into making decisions for your lives, right? And she said every time she makes a decision, she poses herself 3 key questions. First is, what do I want? Right? The first question she asks herself is, what do I want? The second question she asked within the TED Talk is, why do I want it? And the importance of the why do I want it is she talked about how when she's facing adversity or she was facing some of the things that she was going through within her campaign, the why is what was the most important motivating factor for keeping her on her course for her mission, right? And the third question she would pose to herself when making decisions is, how do I get it, right? So the 3 questions within the TED Talk were, what do I want? Why do I want it? And how do I get it? So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mike Flores. Mike, you on?
Milwaukee.
Good morning.
All right, I see all your hands. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks, Charlie. How are you doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Awesome. You want me to take it away? We're good?
Yep, I'm running with you.
All right, cool. Here we go. And I love that TED Talk, right? That was awesome information. And congratulations to all of you who got shout outs and then the newscast. That was awesome information. So great job. So if you haven't met me before, my name is Michael Flores and I'm a Mass Bowl coach, and I taught bowl in Milwaukee recently. And we had a great experience. There's a lot of people in that room, and yet we had a lot of fun and got to know a lot of you. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about get real, get right, right? In the Shift book, Gary Keller, chapter 1, the first tactic is get real, get right. So I want to do a quick exercise with you, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what Bowl Pivot is, the new Bowl Pivot that we have launching starting May 5th. So grab a pen and paper, follow along with me. Let's get real and let's get right away, okay? So first and foremost, I'd like for you to write down, what is your 2020 goal for number of units, right? And I trust you haven't changed it. Have you? Right? Don't change it, okay? All right, I'll give you a couple seconds because I think I got like 8 minutes and then Charlie's gonna kick me off of here. So I'm gonna move along. So good to see some of your faces. Peter, look at that thing. Look at that beard, buddy. That's looking good. All right, awesome. Okay, 2020 goal. Now, write down right underneath it. You can number these if you want, like 1 to 4, 1 to 5, or whatever. Hey, Jen. And so you can write, number 2 is this. And number 2 is, what is my current closed and pended as of right now? Right? What's up, newbie? Hair's looking good, bro. Hair's looking good. You brushing it out? Yeah, looks good. Look at Andy. Look at that face. A face only a mother could love. I love it, Andy. Good stuff. Just kidding with you, buddy. You know I love you. Okay, so number 2 was how many closed and pendant do you have today? All right, here's what I want you to do. Number 3, I'd like for you to take your number 1, which was your total 2020 goal, and multiply that times 42%. Multiply your 2020 goal by 42%. Okay? And somebody in the chat box write, why did I choose 42%? Somebody tell me. You can come off of mute. I don't care. It's Charlie's rules, though. And so I don't know what his rules are. So you can chat it, though. Tell me, why did I choose 42%? Does anybody know? Just real quick.
We're 42% of the way through the year.
That's right. So the end of May, thank you, Charlie. We're already at the end of May. You realize that, yes? Right? You have to understand that you got about 10 days for a cash deal, right? Or maybe 10 or 15 days before you can do a cash deal in May, and that's over. And yet you got a few days for lenders, depending on what the lenders are doing in your area. So what you have to understand is that we're already at the end of May. And if you look at activities, Gary Keller says that whatever you do today will affect you 90 days from now. So we're actually at the end of July. However, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt for closed and pended end of May. And end of May makes it 41.6% through the year. So I rounded up to 42%. Now, number 4 question is this. Since you have number 3 written down, right? You have 42% of your 2020 goal. My question is this, it's yes or no, not right or wrong, it's just get real, get right. Is number 3 bigger or lower than number 2? In other words, have you hit already 42% of your goal for the year? Your number 2 answer was closed and pended. Is your closed and pended number bigger or smaller than what you're supposed to be at today? Right? And only you can answer that. Okay? Only you can answer that. So you at right now, where you're supposed to be is 42% of your goal. Now, somebody, if you're at your goal already, or you're at 42% of your goal, put in the chat box, yes, I'm there already. And yet I would almost guarantee you out of 134 people on here, very few of you are there already, which means we're a little bit behind, right? Newbie's already there. Great job, newbie. Right? Got a couple people. Okay. Annie's there. Janine's there. Awesome. I love it. Okay. I would expect no more than 10% of the people are there. Okay. That's what we see. And the good news is it's not too late. Okay. The good news is that it's not too late. See, in order to make up that delta, in order to make up that difference that you're seeing today, you need to do something different, my friends. Okay, at this point in the year, and you know how, guys, I talk to you real and I talk to you in love. We can't make excuses about Corona. We can't make excuses about the shift or the economy, right? Because we're going through both. Okay, we got to make action, not excuses, my friends. Okay, see, right now in today's shift, this is a skill-based shift. The greatest exchange of wealth happens through a shift, Gary Keller says. And what's going to happen right now in the next 6 months to a year is the people who are unknowns are going to become knowns. In other words, the real estate agent that nobody knows about is going to become somebody coming out of the blue, and they're going to say, who is that? Right? And guess what? Some of you who are known, and I don't mean you, some of those agents that are known, maybe other brokerages, because you're here, 136 people on a team meeting, like seriously, this is awesome. Okay? It's amazing culture. Great job what you're doing in that market center. However, there are people who are knowns today. You see their signs everywhere. You know who they are. They're in the top 5 in Milwaukee. They're going to become unknowns because they're going to rest on their laurels. And then you or someone else is going to become the known. And the question is, which one are you going to be? Right? And if you're already known, if you're the Jay Schmitz of the world, you're going to take your business to a higher level. Right? And so what I'm telling you is now's the time to act. Now's the time to act. Now's the time to get on those phones, lead generate, talk to your database, expires, FSBOs, if you can do those, right? Now's the time to build the pipeline and to grow your business. Inventory is low, well then go find some listings. You got a buyer who you can't find, there's no listing for, then go find the listing they want, right? Let's get out there together and take over Milwaukee and put North Shore signs everywhere. That's what needs to happen right now, okay? And in a year from now, you're gonna say what happened, right? And there's 2 ways to say what happened. Number 1 way is this. The number 1 way to say what happened is like, man, what happened? This was awesome. Let me remember what I did. That's one way to say what happened, right? Would you agree with that? You can nod your heads, right? What happened? Oh, that was awesome. Newbie, what happened? What did you do? Andy, what did you do? Peter, what did you do? That's one way to say it. The other way to say it is, Lord, what happened? Right? What happened this last year? Oh my gosh, this is horrible. My results are horrible. Right? There's 2 ways to say that. Okay? I'm reading the chat to make sure I didn't miss any questions. So which way do you want to say it? Are you going to say, what happened? Let's talk about it. Let's do it again. Or, oh my gosh, what happened this last year? This was horrible. So the way you do this is we get you to this program that we launched called Bold Pivot, right? And Bold Pivot is a 4-week program. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 3 p.m. And they're going to be, you're welcome for the birthday card, Mary Beth. They're going to be 1 to 3 p.m. They're going to be recorded on Facebook, our Bold Pivot Facebook page, which is exclusive for those who pay for Bold Pivot. Okay? It's 1 to 3 Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, if you missed that time, that's okay. We're going to record it. On Wednesdays and Fridays, we're going to do extra coaching called Coach's Corner from 1 to 3 p.m. This is all Central Time, okay? Where you can come off and on from 1 to 3 p.m. and get some coaching. It'll be a group environment, and yet you can receive some coaching. Now, we're going to offer all that 8 hours a week through the month of May for $99. I mean, it's so, some of you just paid $800 to be there in October. This is going to be live streamed, okay? And you're going to have a rotation of different coaches teaching on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, what are they teaching? Well, they're teaching the things that Gary Keller says we need to do. Number one, we're going to coach on mindset. You know, we're always going to focus on mindset. The mindset's first. We're going to talk about doubling down on leads and lead generation and what that means in today's environment. What does that mean in today's world, lead generation, right? What about virtual open houses? What does all this stuff mean? How do we do this? Text messaging, social media. How do we utilize command and Facebook ads, right? We're going to talk about that kind of stuff. The third thing we're going to talk about is expenses. How do we lower our expenses and manage our expenses in a way that we can stay profitable? And then number four, we're going to talk about the market of the moment, right? New sales dialogue, new scripts, pivot scripts is what we're calling them. New dialogue, new conversations. So I'm going to ask you to sign up for Bold Pivot, and I'm not going to, there's 141 people, so I'm not going to take a poll, Charlie. However, I believe at least half of you, if not 100 of you, could sign up for Bold Pivot for $99. It's going to be recorded. And by the way, if all of you signed up, you would shoot up to like the #1 market center in all of the country. #1 market center right now is like 130 registrations, right? And the culture you have here in North Shore, 142 people on a team meeting. Come on, that's amazing. All right, what questions do you have for me? Charlie, did I hit what you expected from me?
Yeah, I think we're good. Any questions from the group or people want to throw it in the chat section?
Oh, how do you register? I should have said that, huh? Mapscoaching.com. Mapscoaching.com. That's how you register.
Cool.
Is this replacing the fall bowl? Oh, that's a great question. I love it, Annie. Thank you. Okay, so as of right now, there is not a schedule to do a fall bolt. Okay, as of right now, we're not sure when the bowl coaches will go out to coach again. Does that make sense? Okay, and I'm just telling you, I'm telling you reality. We don't know when Gary's going to let us go back out. Yes, if we're allowed, I'm sure Charlie's having another bowl in Milwaukee in the fall. However, yeah. I would tell you, don't wait for that because there's no schedule of when we're going out. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And you know how you can know I'm telling you the truth is I started taking listings and buyers again. I went back into the field. Remember, you guys who met me told me I had somebody who ran my team. I took over. I started taking listings and buyers again because I'm not sure when I'm going to coach Bold again. So I'm just going to get back into real estate until they tell me it's time. Does that make sense?
Yep. So if we're allowed to have it in the fall, we will have it in the fall. We're already registered.
That's right.
But I think the sense of urgency for this group is, right? You can be on either one of two sides of when you say what happened, right? You're either going to say, holy shit, what happened? That was a phenomenal year. Or you're going to say, holy shit, what happened? That year was brutal. And you have one massive action to take. So Michael, I wanted to thank you for jumping on and sharing some insight with us. And we appreciate you jumping on our call.
Thank you. You guys have a powerful day. Be bold. Look forward to seeing you on May 5th when it starts. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Charlie.
So one thing I do want to point out to this group, what we're going to do locally is we're going to subsidize your Bold registration. And what do I mean by that? Is we're going to offer you a $50 credit upon a successful completion of the Bold Pivot class in the month of May, right? So if you register for Bold and you complete Bold, that was $7.99 was $99 is now $49 because we recognize, listen, I see it when I look at the analytical data within the results in terms of the pop it has in people's businesses. And we within KW Milwaukee want to reinvest in your businesses to make sure that you're productive and that you're earning an income. So we're going to offer a $50 credit for Bold Pivot. So your out-of-pocket cost is only $49. We want to share in half of that cost for you. So make sure that you go and register for Bold Pivot today. Cool. All right. Next, I'm going to turn it over to DG, who's going to give us some compliance operations updates as it relates specifically to Lake Country, but it will touch on someone in the North Shore that everyone knows and loves. So DG, it's all you.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Michael Flores. I'm all pumped up. I can't wait. I'm going to be in Bold. And what I'm here to talk about today is a huge thank you to Catherine Correo for her services as the KW Lake Country's compliance broker. She served as our compliance broker to date. Her leadership and education has been invaluable to us. So I just want to thank her for everything that she's done. She told us in early March that she really wanted to pivot and focus back on her real estate business full time. And we wish her all the best with that. Can't wait to support you in that, Catherine. Thank you for all that you've done for us. Letting us know in March also gave us time to start looking around for the best person that we could bring to Lake Country to fill your shoes, big shoes to fill. So I am happy to announce and want everyone to welcome Steph Kennard to our Lake Country Market Center here. I'm super excited to have Steph as our compliance broker. Steph has been a real estate agent for 16 years. She's been a broker for 8. She's been part of the KW system since its inception here in Milwaukee. And in that time has also served as a compliance broker for us already. So we are getting an amazing person to fill an amazing vacancy that we've had. I'm super excited about building Market Center with you, Steph, and I'd like to welcome you to our team. I couldn't be more excited. So awesome. Thank you both.
Steph, you want to just jump on quick and say hello to the group? No, she must be on mute. All right, well, we'll get her on next week. All right, here we go. Oh, you're there?
I'm here. I'm so sorry. I'll see everyone in the Lake Country meeting after this meeting. I'm really, really excited, you guys, and I'm really excited to be working with Diana more closely. So thank you guys again. Thank you, Catherine. I've got big shoes to fill. So thank you guys. See you soon.
Cool.
And both of us are going to be in Bold, so join us. We're excited. Can't wait. Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, Kimmy, you're up. Compliance updates.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, good morning, everyone. So just a few housekeeping items I want to address this morning. First and foremost, a reminder of our new home warranty partnership with RWS. The application forms are in zip form and in DocuSign, but to order online, be sure you're saving or bookmarking these websites. So there's a website specific to the North Shore Market Center and a website specific to the Lake Country Market Center. So write this down, put it in your web browser, bookmark it. Remember to go here to order online. If you do have any questions, concerns, if you're not getting an invoice, I did touch base with both Amy and Scott Newcomer, our reps for the RWS warranty. They said there might be a few just small glitches as to why that might be happening. They are very, very responsive. Here's Amy's contact information here. So if you ever have any issues, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Amy. We're happy to help you guys. The other piece with this, if your clients are waiving a warranty, all we need for the compliance file is the property address listed on the top of the application, and then kind of towards the bottom, there is a box where it says accept or decline. They need to just check decline and then sign. That's all we need if the buyers or sellers are waiving the home warranty. So that's all I have for the home warranty. Next is just a friendly reminder about file submission. All files must be submitted through your opportunity to the brokerage within 7 days of acceptance, or if it's a listing contract, 7 days of that signed listing contract. So whether it's a buyer or a seller, making sure that you're getting all those files submitted within 7 days. Please, 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 this is the biggest one. a week before closing or a few days before closing, go into your opportunity and verify that everything is approved. If it's not approved, your commission's going to be held up until we get all the paperwork in the file. So avoid any delays with that. Ahead of time, make sure you're verifying your opportunity is approved prior to closing. Next and last piece, I'm going to share my screen here. I've had a lot of questions on where to access some of our office forms. So there's two places where we can find our office forms. First is in ZipForm. When we go into all forms here at the top, you'll see that there is the WRA library, which houses all of the state forms and GMAR forms. And then we have a Keller Williams Milwaukee North Shore library. The one thing to note about this library is when we have forms that need to be updated, for example, our KW disclosure, home warranty, or when MLS updates their forms, it is taking a couple weeks for ZipForm to update those forms in this library. So you may see from time to time something is missing. For example, our disclosure form is not in the library at this time. If that is the case, you will always find it in the applied towards the template. So when you apply a template in ZipForm, you will find those documents as a PDF. So here's the disclosure here as a PDF, and then you just have to add the text boxes when you're in the e-signature platform. The other place where you will always find it in a fillable form is in DocuSign. DocuSign has improved tremendously at how quickly they're getting our forms created. So when you're in DocuSign, I'm in my document section. When you go to add from DocuSign forms, initially you might see that validation. Remember to skip past that. I'm in the DocuSign forms library, and then I'm going to go find the KW972 if you're North Shore, or 1126 if you're Lake Country, and all of our office forms are here. So I've got the escalation clause in here now. All the focus title forms are in here, referral forms. Here's our disclosure, already our home warranty application. So everything is here as well.
Hey, Kim, quick question.
Yeah.
If we had a seller sign the first COVID form for a listing, do we need to have them sign the newer COVID form and replace the first one?
Is it the showing an inspection agreement form or the new addendum? I guess it doesn't matter either way. They don't need to sign a new one. Both of those forms were really edited in a way, I think more so to just clarify certain terms. So I would just read through them and determine with your seller or buyer, is it worth us having our buyers go back and sign it, the new version? I would say probably not necessary.
Cool.
So the other piece I just wanted to mention with regards to our office forms, I am encouraging agents, and I go through this step by step in my compliance and command training. I really think ZipForm is the best place to draft your contracts, but if you link your ZipForm account with DocuSign Rooms, then you have kind of 2-in-1. You've got your ZipForm forms for your state forms, contracts, offer to purchase, etc. But then you have quick access to all of our office forms through DocuSign. And then again, that's linked with Command, which makes uploading your files for compliance a lot easier. Check out the YouTube page. There's a video recorded from my last training. Otherwise, I believe this Thursday I'm doing compliance and command training again at 1 o'clock. So be sure to check that out.
Hey, Kimmy, just clarify, when looking for those docs, Lake Country can find it under 1126 as opposed to 972.
Yes, you won't even see 1120. I'm sorry, if you're in Lake Country, you won't even have the option of seeing 972. I just have access to both, so that's why you saw it there.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Kimmy. All right. jumping back into it for the group. Here we go. So I'm going to give you the market insights by price points again this week with some variations to the data. Just as a little heads up, I had a request from Bruce Gallagher requesting that I look at month over month and year over year. So March of this year versus March of last year, April of this year versus April of last year. So I will absolutely do that. It will be next week because as we sit here on April 28th, the updated data for the entire month of April should be rolled up next week so that I can give you both March and April this year versus last year comparisons to get a feel over the year over year data. So stay tuned for that next week. So what are some of the good things that are happening within the marketplace, right? First thing I want to share with you is the showing time data, right? If you see here on the far right-hand side of the screen, unbelievable pop in buyer activity, right? So it seems as if buyers are coming back into the marketplace, right, to go on showing activities. It's again, early indications seem as if we have hit kind of the rock bottom period and we are trending in the right direction as it relates to buyer activity. You can see showings per week this year versus last year. We're still down 20% versus last year, but again, the activity is going in the right direction. So good news for all of us. Where that also shows up is then within the data as it relates to units that went under contract last week. If you look at this, last week we had 478 units that went under contract in southeastern Wisconsin, a big pop from what had been the trend the previous 4 weeks. And the 478 was, if you look over here to the left, really on par with late February, early March type numbers. So it'll be something that I'll be curious to look out for as we move into numbers this week to see where the under contract units looks like. But just some for perspective, last week we saw a 22% increase in terms of the number of units that went under contract versus the previous 4 weeks. So positive news there. And that's directly correlative to what we saw within the buyer activity too. When you look at it from a sales absorption rate, right? Same thing. We saw a great pop in the sales absorption. What is sales absorption? This is the percentage of inventory that goes under contract within a given week, right? So last week, 8% of the total inventory went under contract. Again, very healthy number, a big pop versus what we had been seeing over the last 4 weeks. And it was on par with what we had seen previously in early March to late February. It was a 28% increase in the sales absorption rate versus the 4-week trend we had seen. Again, you look at the buyer activity, it's going in the right direction. Units under contract going in the right direction, and inventory sales absorption, again, going in the right direction. So all positive news. Again, when I look at trends within data though, 1 week isn't a trend. You need to see 2 or 3 weeks of consistency to this data for it to really say that we've hit rock bottom and we're going in the right direction. But hey, I'll take 1 week at a time. And then here, this looks at new inventory to the marketplace. Unfortunately, we have not seen a pop yet in terms of sellers who are deciding to sell to get back to the inventory levels. So again, last week, we saw very similar new inventory units coming to the marketplace. Again, as we've talked about, the interesting conundrum that we're going to start facing is more and more units are going under contract and the sales absorption rate is increasing and buyer activity is increasing. If we don't get more inventory to the marketplace, it's going to create some stagnation within the data or within the total business. So a lot of what I see or what I'm helping coach and consult the group on is how do we help people understand their motivation and their situation to advise our clients properly to help alleviate some of the stress that we're seeing within the marketplace as it relates to inventory. New units coming to the market still remain suppressed. It's 13% below the trend for this time of year. And then as it relates to total inventory, you can see, again, as more homes are selling, but fewer homes are coming to the marketplace. Last week, there was 5,900 total units on the market. It's the first time we've dropped below 6,000 units for sale in the marketplace in a long time. So inventory will be the biggest question moving forward as demand and buyer activities are beginning to rebound. Questions from the group? No? Good. Okay, cool. So again, I pulled the pre-COVID and COVID impact windows. The 8 weeks from January 27th to March 22nd is the pre-COVID. And then what have we seen the last 5 weeks? I will share this with you. I'm not going to go into it in detail. However, one thing I do want to point out, something that I did this week, was I just added a column to each of these by price point that shows where are we trending within the last week, right? So if you start over here on the left, here's the pre-COVID impact. Here's the 5 weeks we've seen that COVID's had an impact on our industry. What is the trend analysis between these two windows? And then the far right within every single price segment, you will see how was this week trending versus last week? Just real simple basics. So from a median for sale inventory, there was really no change. We'd seen the same trend analysis. The median price point under contract is appreciating. So again, as demand continues to remain suppressed and buyers are getting back into the marketplace, we're seeing more competition and more homes going under contract, raising the median average price point. And then again, from a trend week over week perspective, total inventory is going down and new inventory coming to the marketplace is going down. Then here, homes less than 350K. It, again, as a reminder, it's 69% of the for sale market inventory, and it's 75% of the new units coming to the marketplace less than 350,000. We saw no change in terms of the trend for sale inventory and those under contract. Inventory is going down. So what that tells me is a lot of the homes that are going under contract recently are below 350. And new units coming to the marketplace, while it's been a trend of down 24% within this price segment, that trend has not changed week over week from last week to this week. And then for homes 350 to 700, reminder, it's 23% of the for sale market inventory and 23% of the new units coming to the marketplace. Interestingly, within this price point from 350 to 700, the median price point of for sale inventory and the median price point of those homes that are going under contract is actually increasing week over week. So while the 5 weeks of COVID have had an impact on those are actually rebounding within this space nicely right now. And again, as we're seeing across all price points, inventory remains to be a challenge. And then lastly is the homes more than 700K within this segment. It's 9% of the for sale inventory. It's 2.9% of the new units coming to the marketplace. Last week, there were only 13 homes that came to the market above 700K, and they're selling 109% slower than the market. Again, it's all, not that I'm saying it's doom and gloom on this plus 700, but it's a challenging marketplace, also knowing that jumbo loans right now are a difficult mortgage product to secure. The good news, though, if you have someone who is looking to sell in the 700 plus price point, again, prices are appreciating week over week because of the challenging inventory market. So again, if you have a seller sitting on the fence, prices have remained healthy and are appreciating even during the COVID period. Cool. And then finally, Cliff Notes, how is the market? I didn't really change this from last week to this week. It's really pretty much the same story. So I will make sure that I send this out in the weekly recap, and Diana will send to the Lake Country group. But it's very essentially a simple supply and demand Econ 101 conversation, especially for those homes that are selling below $700,000 within the marketplace. Buyer demand is increasing, buyer activity is increasing, while inventory is remaining stagnant or getting a little bit tighter within the marketplace, which is driving prices, to appreciate and remain very stable. So one of the things I saw, Beth Clark had a post on Facebook on the Lake Country page this week that said, "Hey, I have a listing coming up, 500K. Should I list it now or list it later?" again, I go back to what's your motivation and what's your situation, and understanding that for your clients. Now is a perfectly okay time to sell your home because you're going to get a great return on your investment within that home based on where prices are trending. But it's important to know what their motivation and situation are for why they need to sell. So, cool. Brad Yates and Lindsay Vranick, I'm turning it over to you.
All right, so today's tech training is all about designs and commands. So last week we did campaigns. So social media ads, scheduling social posts on Facebook, direct mail. Designs, it's integrated into campaigns now, and you can do a lot of different, really professionally looking marketing materials. So I'm gonna throw it over to Brad, and he's gonna talk about just a couple examples that he's used for his business. So Brad, take it away.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. I think Lindsay is putting up there. A couple things that I've done in the last, and this is a couple months, is up on the left is just a simple Zoom background. So if you're doing conferencing, that was just a simple Zoom background that you could upload and then add in your own personal touches, as with all of them. Bottom right is it's labeled postcard, but actually what I use that for is open houses. So the day after open houses, this was right before we were shut down, sent this out to everybody that signed in, and it was just great to show that. I'm doing a postcard campaign for a house that our group sold, our team sold, to promote hopefully new business. And you can do those postcard campaigns within Command, uploading pictures, uploading stats, and all that stuff. Some other great things, and I've talked about it before, are landing pages. The one thing I always like to say, be careful, KWLS is now working in great, and I love that, and it connects up. The only thing that it does not do, and you'll find that with most outside of MLS, it does not connect up to things that may be or delayed. So if you have a property that's delayed, you will not be able to pull that information into KWLS, but you'll be able to use pictures and such. But if you do have a listing, maybe a price reduction, you can do a landing page within and pull all that information, put your banner at the top, put a Q&A where they connect with you, and that automatically uploads whenever they type anything in, their name, address, and email, uploads right into Command. And I know that I did an open house with that landing page, landing page right at the beginning of this COVID. The last open house I did, and it was all paperless, touchless. I sent the landing page to individuals as they walked in the door, texted it to them. They filled it out, sent it back to me, and that information was uploaded immediately into Command. Last bit, and this is something, get into Command, get into designs, play with it. You're not going to break the internet. You're not going to break Command. I promise you. Get in there, play with designs. You can upload your own pictures. You can upload, and I know a lot of other teams around the country have shared great items, and they give you permission. You can upload that into a blank template, if it's a PDF or if it's a picture, and then put your own touches onto it. We have done how to do a virtual from beginning to end, and we put our own Duvall Group logo on it, and then we hand signed it, and it just gave it a really personal touch to share. There is also a great little, if you haven't seen it, a video section where you can do a video Snapchat or a video market snap, of a particular neighborhood. So if you were invested in, say, the 3rd Ward, you go into Command Designs, click on video, and you add one. It takes 10 seconds, and you create this minute-long video that you can download into Facebook, and it gives you a great what's going on, the trend. You can even adjust things a little bit, and people watch these cute little minute-long videos. It's great music, and KW really has done a great job. Last but not least, if you see something that says in Command Designs, it says, for sale or it's for open house, you can change those wordings from open house to just listed, or for sale to price reduced, or just introducing yourself, promoting your app. There are so many great things. And in the month of May, we're going to be touching on it. I'll be tag teaming with Lindsay as we teach classes throughout the month of May.
Cool.
Yep. So I think the next slide too has a couple more examples of what Brad has created. So on the left-hand side is that PDF that you uploaded, Brad, right?
Yes, and that
then you were able to
a little
customize it.
personal touches on it. On the right, I had, and I laugh, people are stuck at home with their partners in studio apartments, and they like, I got to buy a house. So people are crawling out. I did virtual Zooms, and usually I've never had a questionnaire before. I just asked questions. I created a questionnaire within Command, and then I emailed it to them in advance. So that's what's on the right and it was like a 7-page questionnaire. So they knew what I was going to touch on. There is so many incredible things hidden in there. Don't be afraid of it. And if you have questions, you can always call me, text me, and the same thing with Lindsay. Call, text, email's the best though.
Cool.
Yeah, so I talked about the agent site, the app. So if you've been following tech training the last few weeks, campaigns and designs is how you can follow up and stay connected with your clients, which is so important right now. So tech training today, 1 o'clock, designs, it will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube as well.
Yeah, guys, one of the things I'll mention on designs is, I think one of the biggest pieces of either cost that some people utilize as an expense, or in terms of frustration and of anxiety, is just how do you brand and market, and how do you do this in a way that's effective, quick, and easy. And I think there's so much untapped potential within the designs aspects of Command, and Brad gave some fantastic examples of just quick and easy things that his team was utilizing. It's all available to you right now within design. So jump on today, 1 o'clock. Lindsay and Brad will be going through designs within Command to help you with your marketing and campaign needs. Cool. All right, next. Mandy, I'm going to have you take it away and share with us the May training calendar.
Sure. So good morning, everyone. I can't believe it's already May on Friday. Crazy. So we have a lot of really great stuff coming at you for May. So one thing that you'll notice that's new on the training calendar is that there's kind of a Zoom menu for all these meeting IDs that we've been juggling back and forth. So if it's any reoccurring Zoom, like team meeting or launch coaching, tech training, all the Zoom IDs are going to stay the same for the entire month. So reference that little key up there for a little cheat sheet on some Zoom IDs. Some other new things that you're going to see that we've added are a lot of new value adds on Wednesday. So a week from tomorrow, we have our Tommy Choi from Denial to Acceptance at 10 o'clock. We have kind of piggybacked off of something Lake Country was doing. With team meetings going virtual, a lot of us have missed out on the opportunity to showcase new listings and talk about buyer needs. So every Wednesday at noon, there's going to be a new listing and buyer needs showcase. So at noon every Wednesday, there's 2. So there's one for North Shore and one for Lake Country. So you can pop into whatever one is better for your market that you're working in, and go talk about your buyer needs, go pump up your new listings, 15, 20 minutes, quick check-in weekly Wednesdays at noon. We also have Karen Trimble is going to be talking on Wednesday the 13th, going over all of the things that her team is doing in terms of virtual open houses and showings. And then for those who don't know, the Gian Grecos are going to be doing our Coffee with a Capper series this month, all about running a family business and finding that balance. So I know a lot of us work with family members, and they're kind of going to be going over all of that. We also added a ton of value to Fridays. So some of you are going to get an invite only to Maureen and Friends. She's going to be working with some smaller groups who are in similar production levels to do some more one-on-one small group style trainings. Charlie's going to be talking all about how to use these numbers that he gives us on Tuesday meetings. So how to tell a story with the numbers. So be sure to check that out on Friday the 14th. And then you'll also see we have some new agent masterminds. So some of you that are newer into production, every other Friday at 11, Diana Gabler is going to be doing a new agent mastermind. So be sure to check that out. And then please pay close attention to some times that are usually always the same that have changed this month. With Bold Pivot, we've moved contract trainings and compliance and command with Kimmy to Mondays so that it doesn't interfere with Bold. And then all of tech trainings have moved to noon on Tuesdays instead of 1 o'clock. And then of course, we will always continue to record everything. I know there's so much and you're all busy with your businesses too. So everything will then be re-added to the Keller Williams Realty Milwaukee YouTube channel. I see Martha's question about the deadline for the submission. So there's not really going to be a submission. It's that you're going to be going on there and you're going to be showcasing your new listing. We can, if that's something that would be more helpful, is to have kind of a slideshow. I'm totally open to kind of masterminding on that first one and seeing if that's, you know, something that everyone wants to do, and we can work on how that all works so that it's, you know, most useful for you guys.
Cool. Thanks, Mandy. Guys, remember, ton of stuff coming out in May. We have Bold. We have a ton of great value adds to the calendar. Plug into what you need or may want to plug into that's going to help you build your business, right? I understand some of it can be overwhelming because there's so much on there, but we're trying to hit a cross section of people, roles, and production levels to make sure that we're really adding value to everybody to serve you at the highest level. Cool. Just to wrap up, couple things. Reminder, Bold Pivot, we're offering a $50 credit to get you in and get your, as Michael Flores says, get real and get right around your goals and how we come out of this stronger and better than ever. And then reminder, guest speaker next week, May 6th, Tommy Choi from Denial to Acceptance. And then last thing, a few people have asked, Red Day. So if you're not familiar with Red Day, once a year on May 14th, Red Day stands for Renew, Energize, and Donate. It is a phenomenal day that we typically get together. For example, last year, the North Shore office built homes with Habitat for Humanity, and the Lake Country office went to Camp Winthrop Mason. Great team building culture and exercise. And a few people have reached out and said, what's going to happen with Red Day based on everything that's going on? So stay tuned, save the date. We are going to do something Thursday, May 14th. And what it's going to look like is all around a food drive and food donations. We're working on the logistics of those details right now, but we still think the importance of the impact that we can have on our communities and knowing that the food pantries right now are being hit the hardest. We're going to give you a reason to call your database in order to give back to the communities that we all live in. So stay tuned around a food drive and what that looks like. We'll have details for you coming out this week. Cool. What is Red Day? Making a difference in the lives of others and bettering the communities that we serve lies at the heart of who we are, Keller Williams culture. So stay tuned for more details for Thursday, May 14th. Awesome. Guys, that's it. That's a great call. I would leave you with this, as Steve Strickland's TED Talk said, right? Is very simply, there are 3 questions you can have when you make decisions in your life. What do you want? Why do you want it? And how am I going to go get it? Right? So have a phenomenal day. Go seize the day, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks, guys.